on.
So we have the Raiders traveling to Minnesota to play. Raiders have the 23rd ranked offense and the 26th ranked defense. Vikings have the 19th rated offense and 15th ranked defense. David Carr, he's 457 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Kirk Cousins, 328 yards, so that's pretty pedestrian, and he's got 2 and 2. The rookie for the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, the Alabama kid, he started off really good. 35 carries, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook's just had a monster beginning. 41 carries, 265 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Thielen for the Vikings has 8 catches for 118 yards. And then Williams, with his 11 for 151 and 2 TDs. This one, there's a lot of question, because Josh Jacobs is questionable, being hurt.
Josh Jacobs actually was sick. He actually he lost like 10 pounds so far. Some kind of bug going on in Oakland. And I mean, if he's healthy and he's in that mess, I mean, the first couple of games he's played outstanding, but he's been playing in that dirt field of Oakland. So if he actually gets to play in the actual AstroTurf,
field turf,
it might actually give him more speed. You never know, but hopefully he's healthy. But yeah, he's been fighting a bug. Like I said, lost over 10 pounds so far. So, John Gruen has definitely improved the team. He's definitely weeded out the
bad eggs.
Yeah, very, very much the last 2 years. I'm picking actually Minnesota to win this game.
I am too, but the Raiders, I mean, dude, they're hard to run the ball on. They're only giving up 63 yards a game.
Yeah, I mean.
And the Vikings giving up 108. But the passing yards, this comes from the Kansas City loss, that the Raiders are giving up 355 yards as opposed to 256 for them. 17 points a game for the Raiders, 22 for the Vikings. I just thought the Vikings would be a little more sharper than this and a little more physical. Top 15 defense is nothing to sneeze at, but I think I'm going to go ahead and pick the Vikings as well.
Well, because remember, they scored all those points against Green Bay in the first half. So their offense definitely got to step it up.
It's just which Kirk Cousins are you going to get? And the Vikings are actually favored by 9.5 points. So this was still one I'm going to keep my eye on. You're just trying to see which Kirk Cousins you're going to get. But the next game we're going to talk about is Dallas Cowboys and the Dolphins. This is the last of the early start games. This one's going to be ugly. I mean, the Dolphins rank dead last in offense and defense. And the Cowboys got the number 2 offense and the number 18 defense. I mean, you're throwing Rosen out there against this Cowboys defense. They're going to show him a few things. I mean, they're going to get after him. Tank Lawrence he should have a good day against their right tackle. Dolphins are allowing 194 yards rushing. Cowboys only allowing 99. They're allowing 321 yards, so they're giving up 516 yards a game. And their offense is, inept. They're averaging 5 points a game. Cowboys are averaging 33. They're giving up 51 points a game as opposed to Cowboys 19. I look for, Ezekiel Elliott to just throttle these boys. He's got 36 carries for 164 yards, 2 TDs. Kenyon Drake for the Dolphins is 10 carries for 31 yards, 3.1 yards a carry. Gallup, who's out for the Cowboys this week, he's their leading receiver with 13 catches, 226 yards. But, they got guys like Randall Cobb and Amari Cooper and Devin Smith, the former second-round draft pick of the Jets, who's injury marred. He's healthy and running by people.
The ageless wonder of Jason Witten.
Yeah, he's
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns in 2 games. You know, he keeps that up, he'll have 16 touchdowns, a new career high for him. Yeah, this one, you know, they're professional athletes on the Dolphins. Everybody keeps forgetting that. You know, some of these guys have pride. They're playing for pride. You know, you're throwing Josh Rosen out there against a pretty good team, pretty good defensive team. I'm sure they're going to show him some looks, try to confuse him, a lot of pre-snap stuff. And even though the Cowboys don't blitz a lot, you know, Rod Marinelli likes to get the pressure with 4 guys. I could see him sending some exotic blitzes. Cowboys start safety is not going to be there. You know, Woods is out. Still, they should be able to be able to thwart any kind of attack that Josh Rosen presents for them.
Now, what do you think? I mean, the little bit of Cowboy news. Taco Charles got released. And
Taco Charlton got released, picked up by it. Yeah.
Now, so do you think he might be reading, telling?
I mean, with the talent discrepancy, it really doesn't matter. I mean, he knows some of the stuff, but they can tweak stuff. You know, put in some plays that he didn't know. But think about it, Taco still has to go out there. If they put him at left end, he's got to go up against Tyron Smith or Layell. You know. Good luck with that. And I'm sure they'll try to run run at him some. And
so what's the mercy point game that you start pulling the starters out in this game? I mean, they're favored by 23. I mean, now here's an interesting fact: the Dallas Miami game favored by 20. Cowboys favored by 23. The New England game, New Orleans favored by 22. That is the most points favored at Caesar's Palace in sports betting history. So this is a very, for that having a double digit points, to be in it,
right.
20 and 20 is rare. So, you know, with the Cowboys playing the way they are, you know, and Prescott just, oh man, everyone's loving him now. The first 3 years they weren't.
Through 2 games, 51 completions on 62 attempts, 674 yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. If he keeps his pace up, or if he adds to it on this game, they're not even going to be able to pay him. He's going to be what Deion say. If Detroit drafted him, he's going to ask for so much money they had to put him on layaway. This is probably what's about to happen. If I'd look for the Cowboys to try to pull him in the 3rd quarter or something, you know, so his stats don't get too crazy.
If it's a blowout, would you turn into the Baltimore, Kansas City, or are you gonna be more?
Yeah, because I'm definitely gonna be flipping channels back and forth, you know, during commercials. But I still want to see. There's some things on defense for the Cowboys I want to see. I would like to see a little more pressure, you know, because you got a Quinn coming back for the Dolphins just traded him to the Cowboys. So this is his first game back this year of coming off a PED suspension and plus a broken hand. You know, he had the broken hand and the suspension. But I would like to see a little more pressure from that right defensive end and Tank Lawrence maybe get home more. You're still waiting for Malik Collins. You know, what you saw in preseason, you know, he was just such a disruptive force. And then once the games started counting for real, hadn't seen as much of that, but that one's going to be nasty. The next one is going to be probably the opposite of that. You got the Carolina Panthers traveling out to Arizona to play the Cardinals. Now, the intriguing thing about this one, to me, living here in Texas, is you got 2 Texas guys starting at quarterback. Not only 2 Texas guys, you got 2 guys that played together. They were on the same team at A&M before they both transferred out the same year. Of course, I'm talking about Kyle Allen for the Panthers, played at Houston, undrafted free agent, and Kyler Murray, who played for Texas A&M and Oklahoma, the Heisman Trophy winner, first pick in the draft this year. He's off to a pretty good start, 54 of 94 for 657 yards and 2 touchdowns, only 1 pick. This one, how do you see this one going, Michael? I mean,
they have Arizona favored by 2.5. favored by 2.5. You know, the whole thing out of Carolina is the health of Cam Newton, and if he's going to be healthy,
if he's going to play,
you know, if he doesn't, I can actually see that number going up to maybe 4 or 5, favored by for the Cardinals, but they had to get their first win. I mean, you know, the to end in a tie. I mean, Murray has done a lot better since week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, they changed the play calling for him.
Yes,
know? They quit trying to be cute.
Yeah, so they carry it more to him. I'm going for the Cardinals.
I'm going for them too.
For they get the first win this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Cardinals, they got the 31st ranked defense. Offense is ranked 12th, it's pretty good. And the Panthers 18th ranked offense, and the defense is 12th. So they got a lot better defense. The injury list is pretty big over here for the Panthers. You know, you got Rashawn Golden, the safety's questionable. Bruce Irvin's questionable. Cam Newton's questionable. Quan Short questionable. Brandon Green questionable for the Cardinals. Their center, Lamont Gilliard's questionable. Ezekiel Turner's questionable. Corey Peters, Chris Jones, Jordan Hicks. Those guys are all questionable. I just don't think Cam's playing. And if not, you're going to see him, really rely more on Christian McCaffrey. You know, he's already got 35 carries for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Duke Johnson for the Cardinals, 25 for 96. Larry Fitzgerald, man, 13 receptions, 217 yards. So, the rookie's really looking for him. And then, the second-year man Moore from Memphis has got 16 catches and 165 yards for the Panthers. But, I mean, on paper, you'd think that the Panthers should beat them. But, on the road, turmoil, coaches getting badgered. He's wondering if he's on the hot seat. Give me the Cardinals. Now, this matchup here with the Giants going down to play the Buccaneers this is one that everybody's been talking about ad nauseum just because of the quarterback change. And it's so funny when you look at the stats. Eli 56 of 89 for 556 and 2 TDs, as opposed to seeing what Jameis Winston's 36 of 61 for 402 yards, two TDs and 3 picks. I mean, Eli's having a better year than Jameis is, but right now it's all about Daniel Jones. I mean, Saquon Barkley, 227 yards on the season. He's just averaging 8 yards a carry. Is just crazy.
I mean, a new day in Giants football history on Sunday. You're traveling to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is actually favored by 6.5.
Yeah.
And I think they're favored by that much because it's a rookie quarterback at home. I mean, on the road. In a hostile environment. I'm gonna say Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna go with the Giants. I mean, the Giants have got the 6th ranked offense in the league, and the Buccaneers have the 27th, but the Buccaneers do have the 8th ranked defense, and the Giants have the 28th ranked defense. So it's offense versus defense. I know they're going to, with that defense, they're going to show that rookie some looks that he hasn't seen. But with Saquon, dude, that's just too much. I mean, I think him alone, plus with Ingram, I think they got enough to handle these guys, because it just doesn't seem to me that it's going to be that high of a scoring game. I'm looking for something, like 21-14. I mean, and neither one of these teams' offense is prolific, but the total yards, I mean, Giants giving up 426, but that's because they did play the Cowboys and undefeated Buffalo Bills. But I think they have enough to have this upset, even though it's on the road, get Daniel Jones' first win of his young career. So that's what I'm looking at.